My name's Thomas, this is the Whisky Sour Hour, and we're joined by Robert McLeish. How you doing?
I'm good, how's things?
Not too bad, my man, not too bad.
Good.
How's things with yourself?
Surviving, plodding along like I normally do every single day. So I just see what happens and then move on. like the littlest hobo.
Right, we just need to keep persevering.
Exactly.
So there's that much kind of that we can talk about here because you seem to be like Pandora's box of interesting things. So
Yeah, that's an interesting word.
I think this is going to be like just one. It's like scattershot, but in the best possible way.
I go into tangents, mate. Honestly, like ADHD kicks in and it just disappears into it. It's like I'm a walking side quest. Like I don't stick to the main thing. I will just wander.
No, of course.
I've still not completed Zelda. That's how bad I am.
So you'll be like level 20 and you're still doing the killing chickens and that.
Just for a laugh. Just ganking folk.
So I think the kind of best place to start is actually where we are now.
Yep.
We're in the Annex at Lochwinnoch.
Yep.
You've been the proprietor here for, did you say, was it 7 years?
So August, September, officially since 2017.
Well, there you go. So 8 years there, just about coming up.
8 years, 8 long years.
I know. So how has that been for you from like the beginning to now? There's a big difference.
It's not been smooth sailing, I will admit that. It's ups, there's a lot of ups and downs. For when we took the place on, originally me and my mum, to where we are now, obviously it was great when we first started, but we've built on it, built on the ideas, the groups that come in, the community that uses it, everybody that comes in makes the place worth keeping open. If it wasn't for that, I would have walked away for my insanity, but it is what it is, and I love this place, I wouldn't give it up for nobody. So that's why it's still here.
That's it. I mean, I know from like obviously being in the local kind of community, the community outreach when there was the chance at closing was massive, and just getting to where you are now, I think the job you're doing's, obviously really good for the community.
Yep.
With the shows and groups that you're able to put on with this Is there any plans kind of like for going forward, like what you're looking to be doing, or is there anything?
So obviously what we're looking to do, obviously let the public know when we're meant to, is we're looking to officially take over the building as a group. So we've got a group formed, the Lochwinnoch Community Hub. We are looking to do a community asset transfer on the building. That's in process just now. Obviously, once we do all the due diligence and the council have sorted their end out, we can then put it out to the public, let them know what we're actually doing officially, with all the T's and C's and business plans and etc, to let everybody know what we're doing. If anybody wants to ask any questions, I'm all welcome. We're open as soon as our policy is if the door's open, we're open, right. And I'm an open book. I'll talk your ear off you. It doesn't matter what it's about. So that's our main thing going forward. Is we can take it off the council and be our own destiny rather than having to be stuck and begging the council to fix this, fix that, etc. Then at least if we turn ourselves into a functioning group and we get the building, we can apply for funding. Right now we can't apply for anything because we've only got a couple of official groups in here that we can do that via. So once we've got funding, there's money out there. We just have to be able to get it. So
the kind of the trials and tribulations you've had as the kind of proprietor there. I mean, I know we've had like kind of vandalism and stuff.
Just a bit.
You're moving on for that. That can only really make you stronger as a person. In fact, you're still here.
It does. It's like the only thing could make me stop away from the only thing could make me walk away from this building if it wasn't here. That's it. If it's still here, it's still to be used somehow. Yeah. Whether it be just somebody wanting a space just to sit and chill or do a podcast or use the hall for an event. I mean, there was last month we'd done a wedding. We stepped in, there was a couple that were getting married in the local area. It was an outdoor wedding. It was torrential rain. I got a phone call at literally 11:15. I was at my daughter's football because I coach for Commonwealth Side Girls. Shout out to them. And we had a game and I got a phone call during the game asking, is the annex available? I was like, course it is. It's a Sunday. We're not really doing it. What do you need? It's for a wedding. I'm like, right, okay. Let me get across there first. When do you need in? 12. We get here at 10 to 12 to do a very quick tidy up, and we went in, and the worst it was, that's when we had problems with the roof and the flooding.
Right.
And the women's bathroom basically was pissing water. Like it was coming through the roof because issues with the drainage. The drains were backed up because the pump stopped working, and there was nowhere for the water to go apart from stay on the flat roof. 1.5 2 foot of water on the flat roof was coming through the roof, coming down the main drainage pipe, which is inside the women's bathroom, and the tiles are all falling off the wall. And I'm like, this is great, fantastic. And this is when guests were coming in. So we hurried about, me and my cousin actually helped out, and we went through the back, cleaned out one of the football changing rooms, completely turned into a nice wee women's toilet, and that was great. When went without a hitch. It was brilliant. They were really happy that we stepped up, and yeah, wee things like that. I mean, from, as I said, from a podcast to a life-changing event, that's what it's here for, and that's what keeps me going.
Of course.
It's the fact that we can get a phone call any minute going, are you available? And I will try to accommodate the best I can.
No, listen, that's what it's about. I've in the past worked at your kind of social clubs and stuff, and it makes a big difference being able to have that. You know, you can be on the phone. You know, next thing you know, you're doing a purvey for something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's they are the lifeblood of communities, and where we are now. I mean. You've got like obviously Beath, Kilburnie, Dalry, Lochwinnoch, where this is based, but the surrounding towns, it's really not that far to get to somewhere. So you've actually got a really big catchment area for that.
Yeah, I mean Kilburnie's only 3 miles away, Beath 3 miles away, and then we've got Howwood. We do catch a lot of I say overspill, but if you can't get a venue, sometimes a lot of people don't want to go to a council run venue because it's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is with this place, our rates are negotiable. Like, I just want it to be used. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want somebody coming in going like, we're only going to pay this. I was like, nah, that doesn't work like that, mate. I don't take a wage for this place. I don't include my time in hiring the hall. The hall hire is just, that's what it is, and that's it. Don't get me wrong, if the cafe makes a bit of money, once I buy stock, if there's money left, I'll like, yes, I could eat tonight. But I don't take a wage. I volunteer, essentially, that's it. And I have been for nearly 8 years now.
I know. No, it's a really good thing you're doing, and obviously back when you were having the kind of issues before, and you've said previously that you were, you know, you've been on the kind of radio and Daily Record and stuff for it. So it's like it's just about highlighting it and just about making sure that, you know, so places like this do survive, because they are key, and it's the only when they're not appreciated. But when they are appreciated is when they're not available.
Yeah,
like, I mean, we never want to get to that.
We still get the negative things, like basically when I was asking people to help and do a GoFundMe, we get people saying, just knock the place down. It's like, these are the kind of people that have never been in to see it. They've never seen the look on the kids' faces on a Friday night during the youth group, why we're open.
Of course, aye.
You know what I mean? It's like we provide a service for people that might not be able to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no many youth clubs in the area. There's one in Lochwinnoch, don't get me wrong. That's for the older children, like obviously secondary school. But other than that, there's nothing.
That's it.
Not a thing. So there is wee groups here and there, but they're specialist interest groups. This is for everybody. Our main focus is making sure this place stays open for anybody who wants to use it, regardless what they want to use it for, regardless of religion, inclusion, anything. If God, you can come in here and just, I want to hire it. What for? All right, cool.
Exactly.
All right, just don't make a mess.
Pay the fees and make sure it's tidy when you leave.
Even then, at a birthday party, like the way we do a package, it's like, right, you turn up with a birthday cake, that's it, we'll do the rest. We'll set up, we'll clean up, and all that. Really? I was like, yeah, turn it with a cake. That's it. And that's our main thing at weekends is birthday parties. We've got our own bouncy castle.
Yeah.
We've got a guy that plays Spider-Man. I've actually got 2 guys that play, we call him Spider-Man. They're both hilarious. We've got a face painter. We've got an arcade machine in there. So, what more could you want?
Exactly. No, that's it. The history with the place, though, doesn't just go back for you being kind of proprietor, though. At all. So, I believe this was the final venue that you wrestled in, is that correct?
It is. Aye. So I made the choice to retire in May of, God, what is it now? 2022. I made that choice due to mental and physical health.
That's it.
So, like, during my career, obviously, I mean, I wrestled just close to 500 matches.
And is that over the space of 15 years?
Well, that was, at that point when I retired, that was over the space of 11 years.
So you were wrestling for 11 years?
Wrestling for 11 years, retired, but still in the business. So, you never say retired in wrestling.
No.
It's I'm retired. No, you're not. A lot of people say that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still involved in a good chunk of it, which is good. I'm still influencing. Like, people still ask me, and I'm not blowing my own horn here, people still ask me advice. They ask me, does this work, does that work, how about this, how about that? And I like it because it gives me a place. You always get in wrestling, the old dogs hanging around in the locker room, but I now know my place in wrestling. That is my place. I'm there to give advice and pass on knowledge and information. Like, my grasp on the basics is second to none. And the basics in wrestling is what you need. You can do all these flippy moves and slap your thigh all you want, but if there's no story to be told, it means nothing. If you come out and do all these high-flying crap that the crowd go, oh, that's great, but if there's no story behind it, what's the point?
I don't watch wrestling really now, but when you do see clips of it, it just seems to be, and I think as somebody I can see your tattoos, gaming, you've no wrestling games, so they're spamming the L1 button and just doing finisher after finisher.
Yes.
Protect the finishers, if you ask me.
There's a difference between obviously independence and WWE, etc. I've always been a stickler for the basics, tell a story. There's 7 points in wrestling. I'll no explain them to you because it's like insider terms because you wouldn't understand them.
Of course.
We don't have time for that.
That's all right.
But you've got to hit your mark in each kind of match to make sure the crowd know what's going on. Like, in some companies don't do that. Some matches don't do that. It's like, what was the point in it? Just are you doing moves to impress yourself, your pals, the boys in the back? Just go out and tell a story. It's good guy versus bad guy. That's it. It's light versus dark. It's Darth versus Luke. It's Cowboys versus Indians. That's it. Don't go out and just do all these flippy things because that's gymnastics.
Nah, you strip it back to the basics and then you can add to it,
Exactly. The biggest story ever told was Hulk Hogan.
That's it.
And everybody still, like, even though he gets booed now, but everybody still recognises a Hulk Hogan match because it's boo yay, boo yay. It's pantomime.
No, that's it. So going back to when you first started, I'm going to say what was it that got you into it, but I imagine it would have just been sitting watching the wrestling.
So it's an interesting one because obviously I grew up with wrestling. I was born in the 80s, so I grew up watching Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior. As I got older, wrestling matured, and then in 95, 96 was the new generation, the Bret Harts, the Shawn Michaels, and then when I became a teenager, wrestling became edgier, the Steve Austins, the Rock, Triple H, and I'm a massive Steve Austin fan. Huge. The fact that one of my gimmicks in wrestling was Stone Cold Bobby Roberts because I can do an impression of Steve Austin that is uncanny, and one of the promoters heard me do it, and I get booked on ICW in Glasgow to do that on my debut in front of 1,600 people at the O2.
That's amazing.
And it's on YouTube, look it up.
I will find it.
Stone Cold Bobby Roberts, ICW, it's brilliant. That was one of my crowning achievements, and I barely wrestled in that gimmick. Barely, and I made so much money doing it. I made $6,000 off one t-shirt in the space of a year. It was fantastic, and folks still don't believe it. I'm like, yeah, quite easily. Where was I? Lost myself. Sorry. So, getting into wrestling, like, I wanted to know more about it rather than just watching it. As a fan, I wanted to learn the art, and I watched a documentary called Beyond the Mat. It came out in 2000, and it became a ritual. Me and my mate Michael would watch the Rumble, but we'd watch Beyond the Mat before it. So this went up to like 2000, 2001, 2002. So after a while, I'm like, right, I'm not getting any older here. So when I got to like 27, I was like, I'm going to give this a try.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a try. So April 30th, 2011, I took the journey up to Soul's Wrestling School in Ibrox. And the first training session I done was a guest seminar by a gentleman called Paul Tracy, who was basically a talent scout for a Japanese wrestling company as well. Fantastic, brilliant wrestler, former tag partner with Fergal Devitt, who's now in WWE, known as Finn Balor. I learned so much that one day. I learned for a fact that I can't squat. I still remember it to this day. I'd done 256 squats continuous. I'd never squatted in my life before then. I'd played Sunday League football for 13 years and I'd never felt so much pain. And that was just the warm-up. Then you had the push-ups, press-ups, learning how to bump, learning how to roll, clotheslines, tackles, doing a bulldog. That was all in the first session. I'm like, I'm not stopping doing this. So from that point, April 30th, 2011, I was training roughly 4 times a week. I was in the gym. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm fat, but I looked so I can handle myself. And I just kept going. Don't get me wrong, I sacrificed a lot with time with the wife and my daughter at the time. And eventually I made my debut on the 18th of November that year. So within 6 months, I was one of the fastest graduates from the Social Wrestling School. Within 6 months, I debuted in Beath because we were going to do Beath. We sold it out. 162 people there in the Beath Commie, which was fantastic.
That's brilliant.
Loved it, absolutely. Oh my God! And that's still on YouTube. Bobby Roberts' debut, just saying. Awful match. Like watching it back now, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I wrestled like that. And then obviously now, like fast forward now, I mean, I've held 24 championships throughout the UK, just under 500 matches. I've wrestled for 40, 50 promotions, and I'm still going in the business, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, do I want to have another match? I really do. Could my body handle it? No.
So, all those matches, are there any that stand out?
Paul Tracy.
Particular? Yeah.
Paul Tracy. That was my first ever main event in Beath. It was like about maybe a year and a bit after my debut. And the night before, we were doing the Ayrshire tour. We always done that. So we were done at Drossen the night before, and I was tagging with my then tag partner as TA, the Territorial, the Tartan Army, me and Ricky Gibson. So we were full, like I used to be in the army, he was in TA, so full camo. It was great. And then after the match, we're taking the ring down. After the show, we're taking the ring down, and I'm talking to the head trainer about the next night. He says, so you're in the main event? I'm like, what? What? He goes, you're in the main event? I was like, shut up. He's like, no, you're in the main event. I was like, that. And I almost started crying. I'm like, I'm not doing it in front of him. I'm no. And then I went home, told the wife, I messaged my mates. I was like, I'm in the main event tomorrow night. And this was like a couple of months before, after my uncle had passed away as well. So it was a big thing because he was a massive influence in my life as well. So his wife came, my other aunt came, all my cousins, my wife, all my pals, my daughter at the time, all her pals, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot of pressure. And it's 22 minutes of the best match I've ever had. It's watching it back, there's a lot. I watch back and I'm very critical on my own stuff, as most people are. But I watch it back and go, that was crisp, that was good, that was smooth. I'm like, wow, if only I could do that again. I've had other matches where a lot of other people that I've thought that's a great match, but that's one that sticks out because it's one of my first main event.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And I've been in God knows how many main events since, obviously, but that's always sticks out.
Well, that's what it's about. I find the kind of creative process, it's very similar because it's almost like I was actually talking to my wife about it. There was like, I think it must have been for whatever the most recent pay-per-view was, and I watch, as much as I don't watch the recent kind of stuff, I'm kind of very out of tune with that. I watch OSW, Old School Wrestling.
Yeah, they're really good. Really
funny. And my wife's like, so do they know, like, what's happening? Like, all the way through it? And I said, well, it's growing up, like, you mentioned Randy Savage.
Yeah.
His match with Ricky Steamboat was
WrestleMania
like,
3.
Planned out to like the letter.
Stole the show though.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. But I think that's kind of that's one way somebody does it. But then I was saying to my Lauren that some people go out there and just see how it feels. Exactly.
Yep.
So it depends. The ending's predetermined, but how you get there is up to yourself.
Yeah.
And as I says to her at the time, the ending might not even be determined to that morning.
No.
It depends on the feel of what's been happening.
Hulk Hogan didn't even know he was winning in WrestleMania 3.
I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
Didn't even know.
Aye. Well,
but that's Andre.
Andre the Giant.
Aye. Well, there's a good wee podcast about that actually, and Hogan talks about it. He's asking Andre all day what we're doing. He's like, we'll deal with it later. And then out in the ring, Hogan still hasn't a clue. And then then Andre says slam, and then leg drop, and then doesn't kick out, and then there you go. That's the first time, wee bit of trivia, that was the last time Hulk Hogan successfully defended the WWF Championship.
sorry, I've taken a back by that. So that was the
first time he's ever actually retained it. So he went in as champion and won as champion.
Because every other
time he won it.
Aye,
he'd never lost at WrestleMania, apart from The Rock, obviously. WrestleMania 18.
Ultimate Warrior.
That as well, WrestleMania 6.
I was going to say that. Again, that was just I had family that were in it. So for all that was like before, I should have been watching it. Possibly could have watched it.
I believe in having a solid base of what you're going to do, and then a lot of improv. Obviously, we call it kayfabe, but kayfabe's dead. To be fair, I believe if you're good enough, you can call it out there, and it's fluid, and it looks fluid. If you go out and it looks programmed, like when I first started, my first match was I memorised it down to the T, and I would repeat it back to my opponent like all the time until I had it in my head. And even in there, you're still talking away, but improv happens. I've went in before and I was wrestling the promoter, and he didn't have time to plan it, so we just planned it out in there completely. And at one point, I grabbed him. He was to go over or to win, and I was like, what are you going over? He's like, I don't know. I was like, just give me a couple of German suplexes and just a bridge. He was like, all right, cool. I was like, okay, cool. Why? And I'm like, thinking to myself, why am I taking a German suplex? What is wrong with me? Why am I bumping?
Especially having to hold that position to get pinned as well.
It was horrible, especially when you're my size and you're lying and your stomach's just sitting on your chin.
So from there, obviously, you had your own promotion.
Yes.
Respect.
Yep. So I left Source Wrestling School in a blaze of glory. Actually, I get kicked out of Source Wrestling School with a disagreement with the head trainer.
These things happen.
Nah, he was a prick. And I don't care if he hears it, I don't care. I left and formed Respect Pro Wrestling out of a complete FU to him. Because there was a lot. A thing with wrestling is sometimes you're going out for a drink with the boys, you're socialising, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're playing a game. And I was like, no, I've got a family. I was like, I'm not going to go out drinking till stupid o'clock in the morning and then hopefully I'm going to get used on a show because I'm the promoter's mate. No. So Respect was all about using the guys that weren't getting used, or the younger talent, or the older guys that just wanted another run or one last run. But experience works that way. So Respect was formed. I done my first show November 26th in the Glengarnock Primary School. And this was the last show before it shut.
So I was going to say that's been shut for some time. So
yes, so that was the last event, and that was the whole point. We were raising money for the PTA. I was approached because I was coaching down there as well. I was doing dodgeball when I was learning how to be a coach. Working up to my HND, and I was good friends with all the staff in there. Also, my daughter went there, and they asked, would I do this? I was like, yes, no problem. I was very emotional. I wrestled in the main event that day as well. We'd also done during their health week a wee introduction to pro wrestling for the kids, showing them how to bump and how to roll, and doing a promo class. I even gave one of the kids a signed Sting poster that I was actually given by Sting.
And we're not talking about Sting for the police here, about this thing.
I used to do close protection, so I've done a few details for pro wrestlers, which has been great. So that was a good event. We sold that out. There was 125 there that night, and that's all we could put in. But that was my first show, and I had obviously Viper on it, or Piper Niven. She was on that.
Local legend.
Yep, she took a picture of her sitting in her old primary school chair. So she did. It was quite good. Me and Piper have done quite a good few shows together and travelled all the place together. But from then, it just grew legs. We had a show booked in the Labour Club in Kilburnie, which is almost our home away from home. So we do that. We do that twice a year if we can. Obviously, we do the Annex. The Annex there's a story between the Annex, obviously, Respect and why it was formed as well. We've done that. We've been all over the place, and it just grew and grew and grew. And my whole thing was I felt as though wrestling companies were charging really astronomical prices. Like WWE will charge 40 quid upwards for nosebleeds. I always wanted to keep my ticket prices low because you never know the single parent that just wants to have a break at the end of the week after work and their kids are going, oh, can we do something? And we provide cheap entertainment but good entertainment. The kids can come here with next to nothing, the adults can come here with next to nothing, and they'll walk away with some nice wee toys for the kids for less than a fiver, like pocket money. They'll get a great night of entertainment, they'll get fed. It's all about the area we work in as well. I mean, not everybody's got money. Not everybody can go to Glasgow. Not everybody can go to all these other wrestling companies that charge mega prices for the same type of matches over and over again. We are showing different matches. You're not going to see the same matches everywhere else. If we see two people on the same match somewhere else, we don't do it. But unless it's a really good match. But it's all about providing great value for money. And providing yet again another service.
And it all goes back to the community aspects that we talk about.
Completely. I mean, the last show we done was at the Roebank, and that we raised money for a charity called Giving Hope, which is for child suicide prevention and mental health. The one before that was for the Lochwinnoch youth drop-in, for obviously here in the Annex. We've done one for the first responders as well. We've done the Glengarnock PTA, the Beath Community Association. So everything we do kind of goes back into our community somehow. Because obviously we've got the lads to pay, the boys don't need to get paid. They don't know get paid. We'll know that kind of company. There's companies out there that will need to do that. But we'll not go into that. That's politics. But yeah, I mean, like, there's obviously the gala days we've done in Lochwinnoch. For instance, 2012 actually, I've been part of wrestling at the gala day. Unfortunately this year we didn't do it due to the gala day's funding being actually cut, which was horrible. Hopefully next year we'll be back. I'm looking forward to that. So our main, to even go back to that, one of the reasons why I have the Annex now is I was looking for a venue. I went to the McKillop, it was really expensive. When I came here, I spoke to the guys that had it, Robin and Victoria. Unfortunately, Victoria was really ill and she passed away, and Robin was running it, and I spoke to him, I helped out a bit, and I says, look, I'll take the lease, I'll do this, I'll do that, because when I walked in, it wasn't the place I used to run about as a child. I used to run about here doing the Kayleys, the dances, galas, everything was great, and it wasn't how I remembered it. So I came in with my mum, we renovated as much as we could with our own money, and then I moved in the Respect Pro Wrestling Training School. We started that in 2018. 2018 we started the training school in here. So we did, and then eventually we moved, and then Respect closed. So but still going strong. Like closed and then opened back up again. Still going strong now. So
well, that's what I was going to lead us on.
Yeah.
So your latest show that's coming up,
the Golden Chance. The Golden Chance. There's a wee bit of comedy behind that one actually. So the Golden Chance basically is named because one of our trainees years ago, we asked him to do a promo. When we were doing training, and he kept calling his golden chance. It's his golden chance. Constantly going on about it. It's like, no, change the idea here. It was constant, and it's how we remind him. He's in my phone actually as the Golden Chance. I'm not going to name his name, but that's the thing now. It's actually, but it works well. It's almost like a Money in the Bank style thing. I mean, not to get into too much detail because I don't want to give too much away. We will on the night of what the actual Golden Chance is, but I mean, most folk will kind of guess what it is. So that's a great match. The card is stacked, absolute stacked. We've got a couple of debuts. We've got a couple of returning characters. All the money raised from the raffle obviously goes straight back into the youth drop-in, as it does every time we're at the Annex. And every time we do a show here, it always sells out. Always sells out. I'm having to bring in chairs for everywhere. And for some reason, I'm missing 25 of them. Somebody stole my chairs. But It's certain to be looking to be a good night. I mean, adults are only a tenner for a family night. Kids are only £8, and a family of four is only £28.
Nah, you can't.
For less than £30, you're getting 3.5 hours worth of entertainment.
And that's Saturday the 2nd of August.
Saturday 2nd of August. Doors open at 6, and if you need tickets, contact me through Facebook or the Respect Pro Wrestling Facebook page as well.
We'll get all that shared out, and we'll make sure that's there.
Magic, appreciate it.
Just kind of before, obviously, we kind of start to wrap up in that.
Yeah.
I do notice a couple of wrestling. I do notice a couple of game tattoos on your arm. So, what's like Mortal Kombat?
So I've got Mortal Kombat. I've got World of Warcraft, Pac-Man. Switch over to this side. I've got Resident Evil there. I've scroll up Zelda, Turtles. I've got PlayStation. Cartman's there for some reason, and the Buddy Christ.
I see Power Rangers as well.
Yes, massive Power Rangers fan. My wife actually, for our 20th anniversary, got me an original 1993 Power Morpher and coins and the red power gun.
Mate, that's what you want.
And then I went and I had to get the White Ranger Saba sword as well, because I had to.
You need to say it, don't you?
I need the actual original Dragon Dagger though. I did have one and I sold it stupidly.
What's the comic shop, A1 Comics? Remember
A1,
that?
yep. I know.
So I think
I know the guys that used to run that in East Kilbride. They now own Forgotten World, and I visit there once a week.
Yeah,
I am down there constantly now. I've now got a huge collection of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games. I've got all the consoles you can think of apart. In fact, I'm only missing a few, to be fair, to add into my collection. But if I add any more stuff into my office, I'll get divorced.
You need your own annex.
I've stopped buying PS2 games because I've no more space, like at all. I stupidly bought another 2 yesterday. But all my games mean something from my childhood, so they're not just random. There's everything in my office, like gaming wise and memorabilia, all meant something. Even my pops. I've got 200 pops, and each one is a specific thing.
You're not just buying them for the sake of it.
No,
They mean
not
something.
at all. I've even got Norm from Cheers.
Oh, nice.
Because I used to watch Cheers.
Yeah, of course.
At stupid o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep. when I was away. So,
R.I.P. George Went.
Aye, there you go. It's actually on my Facebook. But yeah, gaming wise, I mean, God.
If you had like if you had like 5 games you had to like that are about you, that mean something to you, what would they be then?
WWF Warzone.
Warzone,
only because it was one of the first wrestling games I ever picked up properly on the PlayStation 1, 1996 I'm going to say. Me and my mate Jason at the time, we used to dog school, and his big brother had a PlayStation in his room, so we'd go into his room and sit and play Warzone.
Right. Is that the one when you would hit Mankind and we go, eee?
Yes. You'd lift off a telly and scan somebody's face, but only for the simple fact we get the cheat codes. And if you'd done I still remember the cheat code to this day, you could unlock the videos of them challenging you. So we'd sit and flick through 45 minutes of wrestlers and just doing that. So that was one. Sensible World of Soccer.
Oh, nice. Dino Dini's.
Going back to, that's when I used to play the Amiga 1200, and I'd just sit and play that constantly. I used to run a fantasy football in school, which charged 20 pence per team, and do a 64 team league. So I sat one day with my mate and wrote down the entire league and games for an entire day, just writing out the scores. So we'd make about £5, but back then, when you're 12, £5's like you're a millionaire. That's getting you juice for the rest of the week.
Oh, of course.
Metal Gear Solid.
Nice.
The first one on the PS1.
That's a game changer for cinematics, that.
Completely, aye. I mean, the graphics back then, I mean, I've got the remastered version on the Xbox, but it doesn't work as well as what the original did, so I now have the original. I have 2 copies of it. So I've got the first one, obviously, and they released one with the bonus missions, so I have both of them still in the wrapper. So that's 3. Oh, Christ. Any Tiger Woods game. So any PGA Tiger Woods game, going right the way back to the Amiga 1200 again. So I used to sit on a Saturday night when my mum went to work. Me and my 2 brothers and my dad used to sit and play pinball fantasies and see who got the high score, and then we'd play PGA Tour. And I always remember it because my dad could never use a mouse because he was never that technologically inclined, so he'd use a space bar because you just click and then click. That was it. I'd use a mouse, obviously. So we'd sit and play that, and I remember getting my first ever hole-in-one, and he went and bragged about it in the pub to everybody. But then, going forward, obviously, we've got PGA to Tiger Woods. I used to sit with my mates. We'd obviously have 4 controllers all plugged into the multi-tap. One of my mates would turn up with a bloody turbo pad, because you used to have to rattle L1 to get the spin or the power. No, he just pressed it down. It's like, it's my pad, I can use it. It's like, no, it doesn't count, mate. So I always remember that. Best score at the first 9, the worst score at that end of 9 holes had to make tee. That was the rules.
That's fair.
Aye. And then my last game is World of Warcraft.
The online massive multiplayer.
I've been playing that for 20 years.
All right.
Religiously. I pay that every month, £10 a month without fail. I've played that. I'm a vanilla OG player, so I've played that since it first came out in 2004.
Wow.
Yep, and they've just had their 20th year anniversary there. So, I mean, I've hence the tattoos. I still play that to this day. I've started streaming Warcraft again. I've managed to get it actually finally working properly that I can stream it.
So you stream as well?
I stream as well, yeah. I was streaming during COVID, try to build up some funds. I'd stream it in my office with my cousin Ruth. We'd do dares. Essentially, we'd sit and play old school games. So like Mario, for example, if you died, you had to do a dare.
Right.
At one point, I think she lost and she had to dress like a Ned, but she's pure goth. I lost and had to dress up as a woman. That was quite funny. I had to shave my head. That was a good one. We had a tens machine, one of those shock machines. That was even worse when I actually done it to my jaw locked. Then we done the Wheel of Food, which was two mystery boxes. I picked hers and she picked mine, and it was, oh my God, some of the worst food I've ever had in my life. Like at one point she made, I think it was like an anchovy smoothie, which was just horrible. That was just, but I'm into spicy, so I made her try like hot sauce, like 2 million Scoville hot sauce and stuff like that. It's hilarious. We'd do that, then obviously stopped streaming on Twitch for a while, but now started streaming on TikTok. So I'll do the occasional lives. Any money I get for that goes into this place as well.
Good.
So there's a GoFundMe up just now. It has been for a while. Obviously when we got graffitied and the council weren't helping us, so we managed to raise £2,000. It went straight back into the building.
Brilliant.
Still a lot of stuff to be done, but the council's now stepping up and helping out with that. But yeah, most of the things I stream right now is Fortnite.
Right, okay.
I play Fortnite every single day without fail. Friday nights is Fortnite Fridays for me and a boys that used to wrestle with a few pals, so that's quite fun, but I don't do builds. I hate builds.
No, I just
cannot stand it. I'm straight up shooting. That's it. Because you can't win if you build a war on somebody. You've got to kill them. That's what annoys me about it. I'm like, just shoot the guy. So we're doing that last night. We're playing Blitz mode, and it's like small map, 10 minutes, and it's chaos. I love it.
Oh, good man, good. I've obviously we've covered kind of everything. You've got the Golden Chance,
Yep.
2nd of August at the Lochwinnoch Annex. Tickets are available through yourself or Respect Pro Facebook page.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us down here.
Pleasure.
As always, you can reach us at the Whisky Sour Hour on Facebook, Instagram. Obviously, if you want to get through to us, contact at thewhiskeysourhour.com. And it's been a fast show again, Robert. Thank you so much for having us down here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll sign off at that. I've been Thomas Waddle. This has been Robert McLeish, and you've been listening to the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.